Okay, so now we're on to the cons. So I'm going to go the whole list of cons because basically what I did with the cons is I took the pros and I countered them, which I kind of talked to you about, that, you know, when I was purging, even though I felt in control in the moment, I really wasn't, and I usually felt worse after I purged, even though it took away the feelings for a moment. It would come back, and then I would feel shame and guilt and get into that cycle, and it would become even worse. And the purging had gotten, with restricting, the purging had gotten worse even when I restricted. So even though I felt like restricting was keeping me in more control than purging, it really wasn't, because I was purging even more. So and, you know, the fact that what I said, you know, my eating disorder was always there. It was there when I wanted my eating disorder there, and it was there when I didn't want my eating disorder there. It was always there. So it really wasn't a friend. I couldn't just go to lunch like I used to and enjoy lunch with friends because my eating disorder was there. I couldn't go on a date with my husband and just enjoying a date because my eating disorder was there in the back of my head. So, you know, so things like that. So find all the things that your eating disorder is doing for you, and then come up with a con list as well and look at it honestly. Another thing I did, I had conversations between my eating disorder and me. So, like, here was from one day. One of my biggest issues is that I would go to my church, and the women there would just be like, they were the worst ones. I mean, women are just horrible. When you lose weight, it's like you're suddenly a hero, and they want to know your secret. And so that was the thing that triggered me the most and just pissed me off the most. So this is from one of those days. I would say, you know, that Ed would say, "You're the fattest ass at church," and Tara would say, "Well, everyone else seems to think I'm okay," and then Ed would say, "Well, it's only because you're so fat. You were so fat before, but now they're comparing you to your old self, and you really know you're still fat, and they're saying how fat you really were." And so then I would say, "Well, you tell me that I'm fat, and so does the mirror when I look at it, but everyone else thinks I'm thin, and somewhere inside I really do want to recover." And my eating disorder would say things like, "You're too fat to recover, and you have to get down to this amount of weight, because if you recover, you'll gain weight." And then I'd either say or would say, "Well, you know, when you're eating, that you don't have any control, and of course, when you're not eating, you really don't have any control." And then Ed would say, "You need to trust me because I'm your best friend, and I can give you the body you want." And I would say, "You're not my friend." And in fact, you know, I got to get my Shrinky Dinks out for this and illustrate this. I made puppets, and I didn't bring the puppets downstairs with me, but I have Shrinky Dinks too. These were, I don't know what other one. Okay, see, I made one of myself. This is Tara, and I named my eating disorder parts. This was, for bulimia, this was my Mia Wraith, and, you know, like a ring wraith. This was my binge Bertha. This is how I saw myself. This was my Anna devil, who always talked to me like the devil on your shoulder. And this is Sven. Sven was a closed gnome. And my distortion with, like, when I eventually got rid of my scale, like, I emailed my therapist, like, a couple days later, and I'm like, "I've gained 20 pounds overnight." And she emails me back and says, "Well, I bet your clothes still fit." And I said, "Well, it's because there's clothes gnomes in my bedroom, and they're coming in and adding inches to my clothes so that it doesn't make me think I'm gaining weight, but I know I really am." So this is Sven. I made him up because that's what he was doing. So these are my characters. And this is like, you know, you may not want to do this. You may, like, some people are like, "That's so stupid." But for me, like, I don't know, it was a cool thing. I made myself a little Ed SOS kit. Someday maybe I'll bring my puppets here. My puppets, I do have some puppet shows on Kill the Scale, my Kill the Scale channel too, but in some of my older videos, but I still bring my puppets with me for demonstration, and especially at high schools, because the kids think they're really cool. And this is my, like, little no eds, like, and nots, and emergency packet. These are where my little Shrinky Dinks go. So do things like this, like add humor to it, because humor really lightens things up and really makes, I don't know, it gets rid of some of that like dark, like I don't want to recover and I don't want to think about it and I'm just so depressed. When you start adding humor to it, like these little guys right here, it makes it a little bit more bearable and you actually make progress. So I would actually have these conversations, like just typing on my computer, but I could say like, and I would write conversations between like me and the Anna Devil, and, go head to head, like WWF. No, not really. I am a Muay Thai boxer, and I'm gonna start sparring soon. I hopefully start fighting, but no, they didn't have Muay Thai fights. But talk back and forth. Coffee talk, if you ever seen Saturday Night Live. Some of you are probably too young. So, things like that. And I won't bore you with any more of that, but anyway, those are some of my ideas that, write down some of the things, evaluate, start a list of tools. One thing that I recently did, hold on a minute, I'll go get it. Okay, I'm back. Okay, this little card, I don't know if you're going to be able to see it. I made this little laminated card, and it is my emergency list. And I have 17 things on here that if I ever feel like I want to do an eating disorder behavior, I write them down. So like interventions in a pinch, write your feelings, sing a song, write an email, call somebody, breathe, use your 5 senses to identify what's around you. Can't see my head. Listen to angry music. I have angry list on my iPad. Listen to calm music. List 20 strengths that you have. Do a physical activity as long as it's not obsessive. Pick a goal to work on. Make bread, because making bread actually is therapeutic for me, believe it or not. Do a gratitude check, what are you grateful for? And then, look at, if you're absolutely like horribly depressed, look for what's not broken. What is not broken this week? Because you can always find something that's not broken. And then on the back of my card, like I flip it over, I have a goal list of things that I'm working on. Like organize my house, go out in nature, improve my running skills, improve my boxing skills, work on my book I'm writing, work on my thesis, increase knowledge in my areas of interest right now. I'm studying shamanism in different cultures with an anthropology group. Spirituality, work on some retreat programs I'm working on, work on my recovery tools, handouts that I'm working on. And then I have a list of affirmations, like I'm stronger than my eating disorder, I'm in a safe place, I'm in control, I'm serving my body, I'm taking only responsibility for me and for my emotions, and that emotions pass and that I can do hard things. So those are some of my tools, and hopefully that's helpful, and that will be my last segment. So there you go, you get 30 minutes today.